welcome. My name is Celine and look where I am. I'm by the sea, sitting on the sand. My brother and I came to visit my uncle who lives here in Spain, and today's actually our last day. So I thought I would sit down here and talk to you about what happened in the last week before we head off back to London tomorrow. Also, please disregard my very messy hair, but it's windy and it's hard to tame, so we're just gonna look past that. Speaking of, I obviously cut my hair. I have this thing, like every 3 or 4 years, I like to go for a big chop just because, I don't know, it's quite liberating and it's a nice way to remind myself that things aren't that deep and it's just hair. Anyways, before I dive into the whole Spain story, I just wanted to tell you guys that my first ever sweater design or pattern ever just came out. The Winnie sweater. I've been working on this for a long time. Also, I wanted to thank Karen from Beautiful Knitters for sponsoring the yarn for my sample. I used Isier EcoSoft, although now it's called Soft, and they released a few other colors, and she just messaged me and told me there's a full restock at the store, so make sure you grab your wonderful yarn from Beautiful Knitters. I'll link it down below. And I of course want to send a huge thank you to my testers who were so incredible during this pattern testing process, and I'm so grateful for the help, and hopefully you'll enjoy the Winnie sweater. So yeah, I'll link it down below in case you're interested in checking it out. So on our way here on the plane, I wanted to do some sort of like how much knitting I can get done on the journey here sort of video, and I was definitely intending it to go on my Instagram stories, but now I'm wondering if I can plug it in this video. Essentially, I'm working on the most beautiful cardigan I've ever made thus far. I'm just the most fortunate, most grateful little knitting human because my yarn angel Karen from Beautiful Knitters has gifted me a box of Cardiff cashmere classic in the shade of red that I have been courting for months and months. So I'm making a highly modified Maggie cardigan from Petite Knit. I'm making it long sleeves and all the numbers are completely different. I think I only replicated the cast on to pattern, and then every other number in there I'm just making it up and trying it on as I go. I'm aiming for a larger fit, but most importantly I changed up the gauge. My gauge is much larger because I wanted the fabric to be way drapier and more open to sort of give the cashmere some space to really bloom. I won't talk too much about that because I'm making a whole project video for it. I actually filmed me unboxing the yarn and it looks like a box of donuts. I'm actually going to put a little snippet here, I think, because it's so yummy. Yeah, it's the most beautiful and I feel so grateful. And thank you, Karen, for being literally my yarn angel, as I said. I'm sure you can relate. As a knitter, you just love bringing home a knitty souvenir after your holiday is over. So yeah, I was just on the lookout for a yarn store and I struggled. So my brother and I are in Estepona, in the Centro Antiguo, and they have all these little pots hung on the walls of the houses and they're so cute. Obviously, I'm on the lookout for a yarn store, but I've not found one on internet, so. I did find a little merceria, which is more like a haberdashery. Look what I found! So I checked some buttons out for my red cardigan, but I didn't love them. They also didn't have any local yarn. It was all commercial yarn, so I didn't get anything.
Is that a haul?
I asked my brother, let's do a haul of what you just bought.
What's a haul?
A haul is when you show what you bought. He got a little magnet for his fridge. Even after a few Google searches, I couldn't really find the type of yarn store that I was after. All I'm asking for is a yarn store. It's too much to ask. So we left Estepona Old Town, but then I thought, let me ask the people of the internet. So I posted it on my Instagram, and so many of you guys were so incredible and recommended lovely yarn stores around the area. I was only able to visit one of them, but I'll leave the whole list of all the recommendations I received in the description below in case you're headed to Spain anytime soon. I ended up going back to Estepona Old Town. I can't believe I basically missed this yarn store by one little street. I ended up going to Vegan Knits, which is this super lovely little concept store that has a wall of hand-dyed yarn and then has a couple racks of really pretty clothes. The owner, Ima, was so nice. I definitely recommend you guys pay her a visit if you're ever in the Estepona, Marbella area. Always so hard to narrow down your choices when you're at a new yarn store. Everything is so overwhelming, especially this time. I feel like the color palette available was just my color palette, so I figured I would let the fiber guide me rather than the shades. So I was naturally drawn to this fiber that Ima calls plain. It is 100% cotton, and what's so particular is the strand structure. It almost looks like a papery cord. The strand itself is almost flat and a bit wider. This is lace weight, so there are 425 meters and 50 grams, and you work this with a 2.5 or 3.5 millimeter needle. It just reminded me of the Isier Japanese cotton. I have never bought it, I've never worked with it before, but I've seen it in real life and I feel like it's a very similar base, and I've always wanted to try that one. There is this one sample of the ranunculus made in that yarn at the beautiful knitters shop that I see all the time, and it is so gorgeous, and I've always been planning to make a ranunculus that looks like that. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity, and I grabbed 2 skeins. Also, I thought me picking this was destiny because the shade is called Ines and my grandmother was called Ines. This is so meant to be. I asked her what she used to dye this, and she used weld flour. By the way, I've been practicing my Spanish quite a lot. I'm a bit rusty. Ella ha utilizado guardaflor. La guardaflor, I don't even know. It's this beautiful light buttery yellow. I've got nothing in the shade and it's so gorgeous. I'll be making either the ranunculus, obviously on the 6mm needles, so very open gauge, or I'll make something along those lines. Maybe I'll follow the ranunculus pattern and omit the lace on the yoke. I'll see what I'll feel like. I also think it's the perfect fiber to have bought in Spain during the summer. It's just so on theme. I'll leave the Vegan Knits website linked in the description for you. This little holiday has been characterized by long walks on the beach. It's just so inviting because you'll go on a walk on the beach and you'll probably bump into 10 people more or less. So it's just so calming and freeing. One of the days I actually went on a walk by myself and there was loads of wind. There was almost no one. And I just put my headphones in and I sung really loudly, which is so nice that you can just sing in public and no one hears you. You just sing to the water. I also took the occasion to beachcomb a little bit. I had the idea that if I pick some nice tiny stones and shells, I can try and turn them into stitch markers. My brother modifies everyday tool sets. I don't know how to say it. So he has all these machines and he could totally punch a hole in these stones and seashells, and I could just clip a little ring over it and use it as a stitch marker. And I think it'd be so cute to have my own handmade stitch markers that I picked on the beach in Spain. I found myself really enjoying sea glass, which is just human-made glass that's been tossed in the sea and has been naturally sandblasted in time. I like to pretend it actually came from the depths of the ocean, but it's very pretty and I feel like it would make the most gorgeous little stitch marker. So I picked a lot of those. I picked some stones, although the water here isn't the most treasureful, but still it was fun, you know, it added to the kind of treasure hunt vibes. So yeah, that's been really cute. And then yesterday we went on a trip down to Tarifa, which is, I feel like, the closest point of Spain to Morocco. When you drive there, you can just see the coast of Morocco, which is extremely fascinating. And you could even see the windmills in Morocco, which was so cool. It's a beautiful walk on the beach when you go to Tarifa. It's very windy location, so once the wind comes out, all the kite and windsurfers fill up the sea and color the skies. It's such a nice vibe. It's known for the sand dunes, which weren't as big as last year and the previous years that I've been there, but it was still so beautiful. You can also give yourself a little clay spa in Tarifa because there's a clay source. It was slightly chilly yesterday, so we didn't actually dip in the sea and do the clay mask, but I brought some home so that I can do it once I'm back in London. I obviously took out my knitting while I was there. The sand is slightly inconvenient, but still did it for the video. We had the best lunch. I had the best artichokes I've ever tasted in my life and that I'll probably ever taste for the rest of my life, which is slightly depressing. Speaking of recipes, I've been so happy to see you guys recreate the caramelized leek and hummus pastry that I made in my latest vlog. So yeah, if you've not seen my previous video, make sure you head to the description to see that recipe because it is the most gorgeous pastry I've ever made. In fact, I bought the ingredients to make it for my family today. So once I'm done filming, I'll head back to make that. While we were here, my cousin, his partner, and his baby Samia were here as well. So I've talked about Samia multiple times in my videos. She's the baby of the family. She was born last year in August. I've made her quite a few garments already, and it's just so amazing to be knitting garments for such a cute little bean. Her 1-year birthday is approaching and I want to make her a festival dress by Petite Knit because I think it's so cute. It's knitted top down seamlessly with a folded neck edge. So I've just finished the short rows and probably knitted in stockinette for a while. And now I'm gonna have to add my first colored stripe, which is so exciting. This morning I tried the collar on Samia's head because we were scared it wasn't gonna fit, but it slips right on, which is great. I'm making the 1 to 2 year size so that she can hopefully wear it for a little longer. I'm actually using the same yarn that Petite Knit used in one of her samples. It's her Sandnes Garn Sunday. It's a non-superwash merino, which I'm enjoying. Despite this being knitted on really small needles, I'm working this on a 3.5, although pattern suggests 3, but I'm just a tighter knitter than Petite Knit. It's working up quite quickly. I mean, for now, it feels like a fast knit, I guess. I hope. I'm very excited to start adding on the color. I'm using all yarn scraps from my yarn stash, which is extremely satisfying. I'll keep you guys posted on the progress on my Instagram, and obviously I'll show everything in my future videos and podcasts as well. I have mentioned this in my summer knit pics video that I wouldn't have considered myself a summer knitter up until quite recently, but I feel like once the weather got warmer this year, I've been so into wearing my summer knits. I have brought so many garments to this holiday, and it's just the most wonderful feeling being able to wear your handmade knits for 5 days straight. I know I'm saying this while not wearing anything handmade, but I was wearing my handmade crochet bag, my Helena bag, when I went to lunch today, so it still counts. I thought it would be quite fun to include a little montage of the outfits that I've worn, so let's see what I packed. even though this summer is not even over. I'm just so excited to see what summer knits I'll have next year that I don't have this year yet. So everything is just so fun. In my last video, I asked you what you were knitting while you were watching this, and I feel like that's my new favorite question because I get so interested to know what you guys are knitting, so let me know what's on your needles currently. Also, since I went to a new little foreign yarn store, let me know what's your favorite yarn store in the world that you've ever visited. But yes, guys, I think that's all for my little Spain sit-down vlog. I don't even know what sort of format this is. I really enjoyed doing this on the beach. And with that, I'll leave you guys to the rest of your day. I thank you so much for sticking to the end of the video. I really, really appreciate it. In case you want to follow my creations more in real time, I'll leave my Instagram on the screen. And for now, I'll say goodbye, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.